The face and the fate of African continent in the 21st century is changing fast, and its network of foreign relations is becoming more complex as new actors are interacting with African countries. Besides the Western powers, nowadays China, Japan, India, and Russia, along with Middle Eastern regional powers such as Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Israel are all seeking to create an area of influence over Africa's sources, markets, or strategic locations by offering low-cost loans, financial investments, or finished products. Therefore, Africa has become the new star of summits and forums, which are usually considered as a necessary tool to boost interaction with Africa. As a neighboring country to the continent, Turkey's influence is not very far from Africa. In fact, Turkey has been seeking to strengthen its influence in the continent through Africa tours, summits, and forums. Expecting to play a more active role on the global stage, Turkey sees important potential and opportunities for cooperation with Africa. Because of that, Turkey has followed a certain Africa policy since 2005 and in the last decades. Its presence in the continent has become more visible than ever. It has even hosted 3 African summits, the most recent of which was on 16 to 18 December 2021. If Africa's rise is a reality, it is also a fact that Turkey is rising in Africa. Nowadays, we are witnessing quite a dynamic and intense interaction between Turkey and African countries in terms of trade, business, and diplomacy, despite the existence of competitors. Today, Turkey is a more visible actor in Africa, and Africa has had a unique position in Turkey's multidimensional and proactive foreign policy in the last 15 years. Turkey is seeking to increase its influence on the continent more by using every channel of diplomacy, trade, investment, education, health, security, and military cooperation, along with soft power tools like culture and history. Hello all, and welcome to Investors Café, our weekly program. Today's episode focuses on the Turkish African Business Association Summit that will undertake on August 2023 in Istanbul. Turkish African Business Association, or TABA, is the leading organization that focuses on establishing and strengthening of commercial, diplomatic, social, and cultural bonds between Turkey and Africa. Since 2012, TABA has been the umbrella organization and the pioneer to other such entities and institutions that have similar activities in each African country. With a wide network of members from Africa and Turkey, TABA countries to grow its structural, functional, and administrative organizations throughout the entire region. Well, viewers, you are warmly invited to stick around with the conversation we have with Fatih Akbulut, President of TABA, Chief Organizer of AFEX 2023 Istanbul. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, and welcome to Investors Cafe, a program where we focus investment opportunities, challenges, and other sectors in Ethiopia. Today we are going to talk about Turkish African Business Association, which is a Turkish and Africa relationship between areas of investment, trade, and other areas. For that, in today, I met Mr. Fatih Akbulut. He is the president of Turkish African Business Association. He is in Ethiopia here for an official visit. We are going to raise several points in connection with Africa and Turkish business relationship, in specific Africa, I mean Ethiopia and Turkish business relationship. So we are going to talk also about AFEX summit, which will be undertaken on Turkish Istanbul city on the upcoming August. He's going to tell us about what is going to happen on Istanbul about this grand summit. So please do stay with us. I am Wagayo Mulana. First of all, Mr. Fatih, I would like to appreciate for your time and for coming here at studio to give us your ideas regarding TABA, or Turkish African Business Association. I'd like to appreciate.
Thank you, Gayo. It's great to be here. So I'm here for any questions or anything you'd like to talk about.
All right. First of all, there are people who may not know about TABA, or Turkish African Business Association. Could you please tell us the objective of Turkish African Business Association? What kinds of activities you have been undertaking so far, especially over the last 5 years? So could you please give us an overview?
Sure. TABA is abbreviated as Turkish African Business Association, as you have mentioned. We have been very active since 2012, and over the last 5 years, of course, there has a part where there was COVID, but TABA has been very active organizing business delegations, business forums, conferences between Turkey and African nations. So over these 12 years, we have organized over 200 events between Turkey and African businessmen, and most of these organizations have led to a lot of business between Turkey and Africa. When TABA has first started, the trade value between Turkey and African nations was around $6 billion, and right now it is almost reaching $30 billion. So TABA has been very active, making sure that this trade volume is increasing. So every year we try to collaborate with many businesses in Turkey and in different parts of Africa, especially in the east part of Africa, to make sure that the trade volume between the two continents, especially coming out to Europe from East Africa, is more viable and more profitable for a lot of businesses. So TABA is an organization that is a bridge between Turkey and Africa. It is supported by the Turkish business community quite well, and all of our members, all of TABA members in Turkey, do active business with different sides of Africa, whether they're investors, buyers, or exporters out of Turkey. We also work with other nations other than Turkey to make sure that there are different variety for the African market. We closely work with African chambers in different nations such as Malaysia, Brazil, Philippines, and so forth. So we try to be a bridge to open up African businesses to different parts of the world, Asia, Europe, and especially Turkey, using Turkey as a hub. And we do the same for other nations to use Turkey as a hub to open up to Africa. So we try to be that bridge. And so far we have done a good job every year. We try to contribute to this trade volume, about $750 million in trade volume. And we try to be a pioneer in doing this. So here we are. As TABA, we have done a lot to make sure that we can open up Turkey and African nations in collaborating in business.
Right. I have been checking statistical data that the volume between Turkey and Africa is ever increasing. Could you please tell us the mystery behind that? Can we say it is a win-win policy that can benefit the two? Africa is a continent as well. Turkey is a single country as well. Can we say it is a win-win? Does it maintain the advantage of both?
It does. Let me put it this way. So until recently, most of the African businessmen thought about markets that are in the Far East as their main distributor, as their main source of products or main source of possible collaboration. And they have started realizing that there are countries such as Turkey or even Indonesia or Brazil that are very close in let's say, having high standards of products or businesses that could be more of, let's say, value to these different African nations. Turkey has a big experience in exporting to Europe, whether in standards, whether in quality. So when African businessmen started, finding out more about Turkey, they realized that Turkish businesses can be good partners for them to open up to Europe or to open up to Asia, as well as they would be good places to source products because Turkey is already a country that has been exporting to Asia and to Europe with high quality and high standards, and now it's a good alternative because the standards, the quality of products are already quite high, but the prices are not as European or as products that come from US. So a lot of businesses have realized this, so the trade volume has increased a lot. When we first started, this was in my first visit to Africa was in 2009, and since then I've been going to so many different countries. I've been to 37 different African countries so far. Maybe my last 5 years was in different nations in Africa that I've spent. So throughout this time, since 2008, we're talking about, the trade volume was about $5 to $6 billion between Turkey and African nations. And now, as I said, it's coming up to $30 million, which is quite a high number compared to what it was. And the main reason for this from the beginning was Turkey was not as apparent to many African markets. Now that it's being realized a lot more, with contributions from many African businesses, of course TABA itself, and of course Turkish businessmen from this side, and as well as the Turkish government. The Turkish government, around that time, we had 12 embassies in Africa. Right now, the number of embassies is 44. Turkish Airlines is a very big contributor to this. Turkish Airlines fly to 64 different destinations in Africa, which is quite a big number. So when you are able to reach and when you are able to connect and to logistically be able to bring products, bring people, basically you become a center of attention, and you become a gateway to expand businesses, whether they're going out of Africa or coming into Africa. This goes for imports, exports. This goes for a lot of investments going towards Africa. So definitely this efforts towards opening up between Turkey and, of course, through Turkey to other nations has started giving its fruits at the end.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's bring our topic of discussion to Ethiopia, our country. I've got the chance to meet various investors across the world, and many pointed out that Ethiopia has untapped resources and opportunities for investors as well for investments. So from your point of view, could you please tell us investment opportunities in Ethiopia? In what areas you Turkish investors have engaged in? You can also tell us or share us if there are any challenges you have heard from the investor side.
So already there are over $1 billion of investment from Turkish businesses in Ethiopia. I don't know the exact number, but I would estimate it maybe close to $2 billion. The investments that are coming from Turkish companies to Ethiopia. Now, of course, the main area that I see is production and manufacturing. And when it comes to manufacturing, Ethiopia is a very important hub to, just like Turkey being a hub to Asia and to Europe, Ethiopia is a good hub and good gateway to opening up to East Africa. First of all, the African Union headquarters are here. Also, Ethiopian Airlines is here, so Addis Ababa is very well connected to the rest of Africa. So being connected, as I mentioned, is a very important thing in this case, because businessmen would like to reach places easily. When it becomes hard to go to places, basically business starts coming down. But when you're more connected, like Addis Ababa is connected, then you start having more exhibitions, you start having more business interests, business people can travel easily, so connections becomes a lot easier. So Ethiopia, in this specific case, is a really good place to invest and to be able to expand your business and to manufacture. One of the main reasons is, of course, being part of East Africa is quite important, but also the manufacturing capacities and the possible high quality labor that could be found in the country is a very important aspect to be considered. I see many areas to be able to be invested in Ethiopia. Of course, business environment has to be considered from an entrepreneur's perspective. But of course, when you come and invest, you look at the things that you can produce locally, and then you would be able to export to neighboring countries. That's a good start. So textile would be definitely one of them. I would say anything that has to do with home decoration, any home textile, we call it, like carpets or garments and so forth. These would be the main areas to start with. After that, of course, parts of products that are being produced or that can be found easily in here, that can be processed and possibly packaged and could be sent to, as I said, to neighboring countries, but of course also can be sent to Europe, to Asia, or to other markets that there are needs. So definitely anything that has to do with furniture, I would say would be a very good choice of investment in the region. Of course, coffee I wouldn't even want to talk about. You know, Ethiopian coffee is so famous. But of course, you may need to come up with brands that make it global. So this is quite important. There are certain, for example, Austrian brands, there are certain Italian brands that use Ethiopian coffee, but because it doesn't have the global name or the global brand, you don't get the big markup on the final product. So of course, coming up with different Ethiopian brands that can make it global would be another investment area that people should focus on.
All right. Well, viewers, still you're watching Investors Cafe, our weekly program where we focus investment opportunities, challenges, and other aspects in Ethiopia. In today's episode, I met Mr. Fatih. He is the president of Turkish African Association, Business Association. Still, we are raising several issues. Please do stay with us. Now, you are about to host a grand event at Turkey, Istanbul on August, right? The AFEX 2023.
Exactly.
Could you please tell us about that event? What kind of things does it bring for Ethiopia as well, for Africa?
Thank you for that question. AFEX is an expo, a business forum. It's basically a good platform for businesses to come together. I have seen in many cases that good businessmen have problem finding each other. So there is a saying, there is no work without network. You know, so when you need good network to be able to do good business. So this is a big networking event that is happening in Istanbul on 29th, 30th, and 31st of August 2023, which is only about 2 months from now. So there's going to be a good exhibition within the event, as well as B2B meetings, as well as conferences. And so it's going to be a congress, business forum, expo, all at the same time in one event. We are expecting delegates from different parts of Africa, from 42 different nations in Africa, whether they're investors, exporters, or businessmen who would like to import products. They're all welcome. Also, this time we have also invited other nations who would like to connect and engage with African businesses. So we have invited 23 other countries other than Turkey, including Argentina, Spain, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, Brazil, and even Belarus to come to this event as delegates to talk about business, to talk about possible opportunities of collaboration, investment opportunities. Most of the businessmen that will be coming here are probably top tier in their sector, in their countries. So they try to make sure that this event brings more business, more collaboration, and more network to everyone. Overall, we're expecting over 2,000 delegates, business delegates, to be a part of the event. We are expecting over 15,000 square meter of expo ground within the event. It's going to happen one of the largest convention and exhibition platforms area in Istanbul. It's like a congress center. So this is all happening just 2 months down the road. We do expect a good delegation from Ethiopian businesses as well. And in a nutshell, this is what AFEX looks like.
I think more than 400 investors from Ethiopia will participate.
This is what we're expecting at the moment, because it seems like there's a really good attention that we've gotten so far. There's good interest, and businesses in Ethiopia definitely are more than welcome to be a part of collaboration between the Turkish and Ethiopian businesses. There has been a very long past and experience between Turkish and Ethiopian businesses, but of course we'd like to take it to the next step, to another level, and hopefully this event is going to be a good platform to do that.
Sure, we will expect. All right, let me ask you a couple of questions to Geza. Do you have any activities you're carrying out with the African Union in collaboration, and as a president of Turkish African Business Association, what is your recommendation to ease business in Africa?
Okay. Well, we have worked with African Union in the past. In 2016, we had collaborated about another specific event. But overall, first of all, there are so many things that, as I mentioned in that example in coffee, that there are so many things that needs to be brought out of Africa that has not seen the global attention that it deserves. For example, there are certain types of flowers that cannot be found anywhere else in the world that are produced in Africa. There are certain types of scents that can be found here, but you cannot find anywhere else. There are so many specific things that can either be produced or that can only be found in Africa, but they don't get the global attention because they're not marketed well. So definitely what I suggest to African businesses, African businessmen, is to definitely focus on their marketing, definitely focus on their brands. For example, there are so many resources, as in fruits, as in produce, that are being wasted, that I see so many times. For example, mangoes. Let me give you that as an example. So there are so many mangoes that I see that go to waste because they're not taken care of properly. So we have tried to do programs in Nigeria, in Kenya, where they can be dried and then to be exported, which gives a very long shelf life to mangoes and some other specific fruits. So you get a very long shelf life, and you can export to almost everywhere, to globally we're talking about. So that phase has come to a good point at the moment. But now the next thing to do is not sell in bulk, but also package it here, have your own brand, and try to get into the US market, try to get into European market, which in doing so, Turkish businessmen could be a good, let's say, area of connection to be able to do that. So I definitely see a huge potential in production in Africa, in coming up with brands, coming up with different products of higher value. It just needs to be focused on, and after that, it's definitely, I see a huge potential. I can talk about so many things, like in Mauritania, for example. There's so much potential in the fish business in Mauritania. Unfortunately, because of the process that needs to be done, and it's not being done, all of that great fish that could be made sushi out of, or that could be made so many great dishes out of, become other fish food. So they bring all that beautiful fish to factories to turn them into what they call a fish flour, which is basically another food for other fish to eat that are being farmed. Or that can be used as food for other, as a protein, basically turns into protein. If you have the right processes, if you have the right ships, if you have the right equipment or the right manufacturing facilities, the value of what is being done at the moment could at least triple, if not quadruple. So I see so many things like this throughout Africa that definitely needs attention from the businessmen, and of course governments should have the right, let's say, atmosphere to support these businessmen. But at the end of the day, entrepreneurs are the ones who really will make it happen. So I definitely am asking to all business people, all entrepreneurs in Africa to definitely get more exposed to different parts of the world globally, to see a lot more, to understand a lot more, because whatever you see sometimes can be done in a better way in Africa. It's just it just hasn't been discovered by another business person or by another country. So definitely that potential is there. I mean, I can come up with so many other examples, but I think these would give you enough just to get an idea of what the potential looks like.
Great. Yeah, I really appreciate the recommendations. Right. This might be my final question. Upon your arrival in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, I heard like you met various government officials, especially you met State Minister of Trade and Industry.
Yes.
Could you please tell us points of discussions?
Actually, I was delighted to meet His Excellency. We have talked about possible ways of collaboration between businesses in Turkey and in Ethiopia, and he was very welcoming. We talked about some of the events that are happening or has happened here in Addis Ababa, because Addis Ababa, as I mentioned earlier, is also a good hub and good connection point for especially East Africa, but as well as other parts of Africa because of Ethiopian Airlines. And being the center of attention, also African Union, definitely we need to support events that are happening here in Addis Ababa. And we also need to make sure that businesses in Turkey and in Ethiopia are more connected. So we talked about AFEX, definitely. So we do expect a good delegation coming from here to the event that's happening in August 29th, 30th, and 31st, as I mentioned. We also talked about quite good ways for Turkish investors to do investments here. So it is very important for support to those investors. It is quite crucial that any investors that come into the country are supported throughout the whole process. He has mentioned that they came up with a system where instead of going to so many different places to register the company, now you can go to one location and everything can be handled. Actually, they had something very similar in Rwanda for businesses that are coming from outside of Rwanda to invest in. So these are good steps, definitely. But when you start talking to businessmen, especially investors, they definitely would like to feel that support because those investors are taking a big chance, making a big effort to do business in a country that they have not done business in the past. So definitely the support from the government is quite essential. So he was very delighted to have us, as we were honored to see him, and hopefully we are looking for a good delegation to come to Turkey from Ethiopia.
All right, Mr. Fatih Akbulut, President of Turkish African Business Association, I would like to appreciate for your time, for your description, explanation about the question I've raised. I have already finished my question, but finally let me give you a chance for you if you have any message which is left.
The message is You know, in the past, sometimes we felt as if we always have to work with certain specific countries in doing business. And this goes for Turkey, this goes for different nations in Africa. There are so many different opportunities out there globally that we all as entrepreneurs, being an entrepreneur myself, we definitely need to seek out for those opportunities. We definitely need to be on the lookout for different areas that we can invest, we can do business, we can either import or export, but definitely we need to keep our eyes open. I advise the same to Ethiopian businessmen. Please, wherever you see opportunities of exposure, to understand the other opportunities elsewhere, try to be as connected as you possibly can.
All right. I hope we will meet at Istanbul on August for
Hopefully.
media coverage, and we will keep working together. I really appreciate for your time once again.
Thank you.
On
Thank
behalf of my audience and Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation.
Thank you, Okayo. Appreciate it.
Right. Well, viewers, this concludes the time I have spent with Mr. Fatih Akbulut. He is president of Turkish African Business Association. He is here in Ethiopia. He has read several topics, business opportunities in Africa as well in Turkey, basically in Ethiopia, and we have raised very important topics. I hope you have enjoyed the program. I am Wagayo Mulana. Stick around with other programs of ETV. For now, goodbye.